you going to hijack a light until I go live? Like, how are you literally going to kidnap a light on a stream until I go live? That is rude. R-O-O-D, rude. The people that we are talking about tonight are literally a knockoff of Fresh and Fit. Literally. They do the same tactics as Fresh and Fit. They're just, I would say they're a bit, how do I put it? I don't know how to put it. I mean, they're just as rude. I don't know. They're just like Fresh and Fit. I don't know how else to put it. So the first thing we're going to look at is basically it's an overview by a website called Know Your Meme. All right. And they pretty much give you an overview on who, oh my God, wrong button, bro. All right. Who, whatever podcast is. It says here, the Whatever Podcast or Dating Talk is a podcast produced by the former YouTube prank channel Whatever. And I'll show y'all. They were a prank channel. And hosted by Brian Atlas. Each episode of the show has Atlas discuss and debate a range of topics, often controversial, related to dating, sex, masculinity, modesty, and feminism with the ever-changing panel of young Gen Z women, often including some OnlyFans models and influencers. The podcast's been around since July of last year. They took, oh God. They basically built it off of Fresh and Fit. That's who they like or whatever. The podcast and its hosts have also often been criticized for spreading toxic masculinity and, in some people's opinions, degrading women. Very true. The show is inspired by Fresh and Fit podcast, which has a nearly identical format. Yes. I call them the Fresh and Fit knockoffs. And the only reason why I call them a knockoff because, you know, Myron Gaines, leader of the Red Pill right now. Alright, so this is the channel. They have 4.27 million subscribers. This was the same show. Now, it wasn't one of the hosts. But remember the Endure guy? Remember the guy that Melina and Destiny were on? And Melina had asked them, well, what happens if the woman is in a domestic violence type situation? And the one guy was like, endure it. She needs to endure it. Well, what if she cheats? They need to break up. It was on that podcast. Yes, the Endure guy was on that podcast. That's the podcast that happened on. So, yeah, Modern Dating Life, MLD, that idiot. So anyway, Whatever has 4.27 million subscribers, but if you look and you go to their oldest, they've been around for 10 years. They started off as a prank channel. Now, we know about prank YouTubers, right? We know about prank YouTubers. That tells you a lot. Endure was a fun meme. It was a fun meme. But yeah, they've been around for 10 years and they literally were a prank channel. And that tells me a lot about that. They also have a clips channel, where we're going to watch it from. Whatever Clips. It has 843 subscribers. The reason why they have clips, thank God, because if you look at their live stream, 6.5 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours, 7.5. Some of them go up to 8. They literally stream forever. So before we do that, okay, y'all remember this on Twitter? Y'all remember this clip from Twitter?
So you're bored. Make this conversation less boring. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire, Brian?
Is that your best effort?
Sure.
In any case, you're not particularly adding to the conversation. You've been disrespectful this entire time. You're entitled. You're rude. You have TikTok brain. You cannot stay focused. We've only been live for...
Okay, they got on her for playing with her Tamagotchi. She was either on her phone or a Tamagotchi or something like that. ADHD brand. Guarantee it. And I'm gonna be honest, she looks like she was on something. I'm not even gonna lie. But this is how he talks to her.
For an hour and a half or so. I'm gonna ask you to leave.
Okay.
So get up, get the fuck out. On my dead-ass podcast, bitch, you fucking do OnlyFans, you fucking degenerate.
And that's how they feel about OnlyFans girls. But... So she retweeted it. This is her right here. She retweeted it and said, "This is hilarious because he's in my DMs every other week begging me to come back on the show." And then she goes, "It's a shame because he's actually quite polite in person. But if this is going to be the entire shtick, then he's got to have some basic concern for his guests. A 4-hour drive round trip simply wasn't worth the heinous threats I got in my inbox for months afterwards." Now, this was at April 18th, down for this Sunday. April 25th, I know it's super last minute. You got a super solid panel for tonight. We have one spot. And then she says, "Sorry, man, I've had one of the most hectic weeks of my life." She doesn't show them actually messaging her every other week. But May 18th, feel better. Hey, interested in come back on November 3rd. New time, Sunday and Tuesday at 4 p.m. Meet. Trying to get her back on. All right. If you go down further, there is another... Okay. There was another one. Here it is. So, this here, little Liana says, "This crusty ass host is in every OnlyFans girls' DMs." And that's just giving information about the show. And she goes, "I'd rather drag my through a field cactuses than go on your cringe podcast with that insufferable host." Yes, very much. SDE. Very much SDE. And by the way of nuclear winter, we got this beautiful thing. This is Lauren de Laguna. Brian makes fun of Destiny, and this is when the whatever podcast retweeted Destiny, and they had said something about, they called it about the marriage of Destiny and Milena breaking up, but he ended up deleting that tweet. Brian makes fun of Destiny, meanwhile tries unsuccessfully to hook up with basically every girl on the show. We all make fun of him behind his back. I know several girls who flirt with him back just to keep coming on the show. They come back to Florida and share the cringe DMs and make fun of his stomach and dandruff. At least Destiny got married. Brian can't even get laid. That's the host. That's the guy who said, "You do OnlyFans, you degenerate." That is who she is talking about, Brian Atlas. That is who she's talking about. Brian Atlas, the guy said, "Oh, well, you do OnlyFans, you degenerate." Yeah, pulled out the dandruff. So, of course, Pearly Things is going to come up under here. "Lauren, you gotta stop me tooing these dudes. If you and your friends get hit on, my question is, how are you guys presenting yourself?" Pearly Things, at least they get hit on. Nobody wants to hit on your Sasquatch ass. Okay? These chicks act like these guys DM them out of the blue when half of the time they flirt for attention and wear slutty clothes. Yes, because them wearing slutty clothes is literally putting a gun to someone's head and making them go in their DMs. It totally works that way, Pearl. Behave professionally, and generally men will treat you professionally. This is coming from a girl who can't even get a date. Just saying. She goes, "How is this a Me Too? I'm not accusing him of assault. I'm accusing him of being a creep," which he is. That's a strong label to put on someone who checks notes, asks you to get lunch. You guys go on these shows with your tits out and act surprised when men hit on you. Oh my God, I hate pearly things. He deleted our private DMs where he asked to Netflix and chill and refused to get dinner and asked me to go to his bed for the first date. And then Pearl goes, why were you responding at all if you weren't interested? She goes, I was interested until he insisted that we F on the first date instead of getting dinner. Okay, so now you were interested, but you just didn't like that he didn't take you on a date, and now he's a creep? Ladies, stop. This is embarrassing. Pearl, there's new. LOL. I learned all this from a thread that Brian is a loser, and Pearl is even a bigger loser for defending him. True, Nuke. True. Pearl. At least they get guys who are interested to want to have sex with them on the first date. You can't even get that. You can't even get that. Why? You are stupid. You are a moron. Get your life together. Yeah, shut up, Pearl.